Hi, welcome to my channel. Welcome to All About the Alternative. This is a Passover one, so hopefully I can wish everybody happy Passover. I don't know if I can be heard. I'm just gonna have to check on that. It looks like. Oh, wait a minute. Microphone there. Okay, so this time I actually have sound. I didn't have sound on the first one there. I don't know. I lost a lot of what I said on that first one. Oh well. So I want to wish everyone a happy Passover. Hopefully, anybody joining me can put in the comment or put in into the chat and and tell me how you celebrate Passover. If you do, if you've gone to somebody else's home and celebrated Passover at some time. Try this camera swaying. Hit the table. Uh, so if you're joining me on this live, then just let me know where you're from and are you celebrating Passover? Are you not? Are you doing something different? How do you celebrate Passover? And let me know how that is. If you can hear me okay, that'd be great to know as well. So who's around? Who can tell me about their Passover and how it's going to be? Basically what we do, and I know that I was trying to explain this on my first attempt here, but it didn't work. So Passover is 8 days. It starts tonight. Officially, it starts tonight. Tomorrow was actually the first day. Some people take it off, some people don't. It depends on their job, perhaps. I don't know. But yeah, so and it goes for 8 days, and it goes till next Tuesday, which would be the 30th of April. But in some cases, if you live in Jerusalem or you live in Israel, it actually might be 7 days for you, which is common. And so that would actually end on Monday instead of ending today or ending in 8 days. So, yeah. So I haven't had a chance to do too many lives. I've done a couple of them. If I have an opportunity to do more of them, I would try to do that. Let's see how it goes. Some of my ones that I use very permanently for the flags, I'm putting up there, so they're going to be there on a regular basis. And so I realize you can't really see the whole thing, just a little bit. So that'll fix that up a little bit. Yeah, so if you're joining me, let me know where you're from and where you're and how you're celebrating Passover. I'm doing something I do a little differently this year. Is I'm doing a breadless Passover, which normally is breadless anyway, but I'm not doing with matzah this year. I just made a decision that being where I'm living there's no stores around me to actually purchase Passover foods directly. And I eat kosher all year round anyway, so the technical part of that is just basically vegetables are vegetables, fruit is fruit, and I just basically do all my cooking anyway. Nothing's really processed during this week, and so I make we have beef and chicken and fish and some actual dishes that don't even include any of that. And the only thing I do store year round, I usually do pick up a couple times a year. I do pick up something called matzo meal, which is basically the same thing. It's just basically like breadcrumbs would be considered for some items. It's like crumbled matzah. So I use that all year round. So I make something called salmon patties, which I learned when I was really, really young to make them. And it's basically salmon and just basically put into like a patty, and we cook that up, and you have that. Some people put it on a bun if they're having it. Other times a year, you have some people wanting to do that. But normally, you just have it as just like a fish, open fish kind of thing. So you just have that, and then I do make up a couple times a year. I make up a meatloaf, which also contains matzo meal all year round. That's my secret ingredient. Not so secret anymore, but that's what I do. So I do that all year round. I also make my own hamburgers, and I use matzo meal in my hamburgers as well. I just basically do the same recipe I usually use for my meatloaf is moderated to be for my hamburgers as well, and I do that all year round also, especially during summertime because we often barbecue, and so we do that. So yeah, um, so just so I want to wish everyone a happy Passover, Passover, um, and so I don't see too many people jumping on today, but that's okay. That's fine. Um, I don't get a chance to do this very often. I actually intended to do a video on Passover and do a little explanation of Passover and how it works, and my alternative to for doing Passover this year. And I just basically looked at that too, even though I do live close to Toronto. It's a further drive to go to the stores to actually do it. Now, someday in the future, if I'm traveling, which I intend to do, I'd like to do some traveling. I may not be available to go to those stores to get those things. When I'm in Toronto, I'll probably grab some of those boxes of matzo meal and have them around for when I'm cooking it on the road or wherever I am. And that's easy to transport somewhere. But um, going out of my way to go and get kosher foods and that, I may be living in an area that doesn't have any of those things. And so I'm going to have to be able to adapt an alternative to do that. And so I decided this year, this is how I'm going to do it. If I'm over at somebody's place and they're having some matzah, no problem. Of course, I can have it. But in our own home right now, we're just going to go with a breadless idea. And of course, I mean, I do have, but our household doesn't eat a whole lot of bread to begin with. So going out of my way to go and have matzah for this week doesn't make a whole lot of sense just because it's Passover and you go through the expectation to go have matzah. And so I'm just not doing that this year. I've done it in other years where I went and I spent a whole lot of money on extra stuff that I just don't need to do. And of course, again, being the alternative, hey, that's what we do. We find an alternative and we do things differently. And that's a lifestyle decision, just the way we're doing things. So, hey, so I'm going to leave that here at this point. I don't see too many people coming on to this live. Hopefully in the future, you guys can join me for another live. We can actually get a discussion going and we can talk about whatever you'd like to talk about. Maybe you've got some questions on an alternative. How do you do something differently in your life? Gadgets that I want to show. I've got lots of them. I've got lots of alternative recipes. I've got all kinds of stuff that we can do and show. I'm really liking this live way because I can just talk to the camera, tell you about something, and if I have somebody who wants to chat, great. So in future, I hope to see you on here, and give me a like and a subscribe, and I will see you on the next one.